Good morning, Wizards. Mr. Wisner here. Happy Thursday, May 14th, 2020. Hope everybody's doing well on their virtual learning. A couple of announcements before we get started. Parents, please see the virtual input parent feedback form that was sent on yesterday's email. If you get a chance to fill that out, please do so. It's important for the district to have some idea of your input on virtual learning, and if you have any specific questions, please include that in there. I want to let all the Wizards know that today, for a couple hours in the late afternoon, I went into the school and I was going through lockers and going through desks and bagging everything up, putting into bags. I have about 9 people done. I'll continue to do that the next week or so for the pickup on June 10th, and we'll have everything there for you ready to go on June 10th for you to pick up. Anything that's in your locker or in your desk, I'm putting into that bag. I do have several people with boots and jackets. If your name's on your headphone, that is going in the bag as well. And otherwise, maybe you took your headphones, or if you have to figure out which headphones are yours and you don't have a name on, you'll have to come and get those from me. Maybe I'll leave them out on that June 10th as you pick things up. If you didn't have your name on your headphones, you can come and grab them. I'll just put them in the bin. Okay, so that'll be June 10th. Assignment for today before I get into the further adventures of the Robert Hotzenplotz. For math, Dreambox or ABC, or you can do up to 3 pages on any of the 4 problem-solving packets. Those packets are algebra, number operations in base 10, measurement and data, and geometry as well. Reading, characters learning lessons in fiction books. Authors write books a lot of times to teach a lesson to the reader. So today's reading lesson is going to be about why do authors write certain books a certain way to try to teach the reader a lesson. So we'll be talking about that, or you'll be looking at that. What do the characters teach us as readers? Character traits. What are some positive character traits? What are the authors trying to teach us? And we'll go back to Mercy Watson, use that story or her as an example again. Mercy Watson, what were positive traits about Mercy Watson? Okay, positive character traits. In writing, you're going to be going to a slide video from Mrs. Waldock. She's talking about a nature walk today, and you're going to do a little poetry walk in nature. What I'd like you to do, Wizards, is take about 10 minutes and go outside and just walk for about 10 minutes in your backyard on a path, and just jot down what you see, what you hear, what you feel, what you smell. What do you see all around you in nature? Okay, and then when you come back, you're going to write a little poem about that. Maybe you'll title it Nature Walk, or My Backyard, or The Creek, or the River, or a rainy morning, whatever it may be. Okay, or maybe you find a turtle. Maybe that's going to be your poem. So take some notes as you go on your nature walk. Just walk for like 5 minutes outside and jot down what you see and hear and smell and feel. Brain breaks. We do have some brain breaks today. Spelling. You're going to be doing a activity where you're trying to make as many words as you can using the words Ben Franklin. Now, as you look at the slides, the answer sheet follows. So try to find as many as you can without looking at the next slide that shows the answers. I will send the specials. Be sure to check out any specials links. And then, of course, we have the enrichment activities always at the bottom of each slide. Look for tomorrow for there to be a RazKids assignment. Good job. All of you are moving along pretty quickly in RazKids and Dreambox. Super job. And before I get started with the Robert Hotzenplotz, I just want to tell you how weird it was for me today, Wizards. I was there late afternoon just as you'd be getting out of school. It was so quiet, the lockers, the hallway, your desks. I was actually sitting in your desks at your chairs and taking stuff out of your desk and looking through and getting all your folders together and your notebooks. And it was just a weird feeling for me knowing the last time I saw you in that classroom was in March, and now here we are in May. and we won't be in that classroom anymore this year. So it was definitely a weird feeling, but hopefully you all will be back into the actual building at Riverside come fall. All right, on to the further adventures of the robber Hotzenplotz. Let me reach over here and grab it. And there it is. Okay, wizards. We left off with grandmother and the robber Hotzenplotz. And as you see there, grandmother has fainted. The robber Hotzenplotz is in disguise as the chief inspector and has come and is gobbling up all of her sausages and sauerkraut. That's right. You know who I am. Now I want you to sit down here and I want you to start counting. You are going to count for me carefully until I am ready to escape. Well, what do you mean? You're going to sit here for 10 minutes and you're going to keep quiet. And I want you to count to 999 or 10 minutes, whichever comes sooner. Do you understand? I do. Did you hear what I said, Granny? Are you sure you understood what I said? But grandmother could not say anything at all. She just sat in her chair, not moving. For at that very moment, Hotzenplotz polished off the last sausage, and grandmother had fainted away, partly from fright and partly from rage. Kasperl and his friend Seppel had been fishing down by the stream, but they had not caught anything except an old broom and an empty vinegar bottle. They threw the broom back, but not the bottle, said Kasperl. We can use it for a message. If we ever have to send a message in a bottle, we could use this. They would have been home on time, just as they were every Thursday, but something funny happened on their way home. As they were crossing the market, they heard muffled shouts coming from the fire station. The fire station is where they keep the prisoners. Oh, it doesn't seem to be one of Hotzenplotz's better days. Can you hear him? Listen to him. He's cursing and swearing at the bad robber Hotzenplotz. He's not swearing, said Seppel. What do you mean he's not swearing? He's calling for help. Perhaps he has a toothache, or maybe he has a stomachache. Kasperl had had it in for Hotzenplotz ever since the shocking affair of grandmother's coffee mill. I hope he has a toothache and a stomachache, he said, and I hope he gets corns on the bottom of his feet as well, both feet. Just the same, he ran to the fire station with Seppel to find out what was going on, what was causing all the noise. Here's Kasperl and Seppel climbing on each other's shoulders to try to look into the fire station to see if they can see what's wrong with the robber Hotzenplotz. The fire station had only one small window, which was barred, of course. Standing right under the window, they could hear the muffled voice quite distinctly. Help! Help! I've been locked up in here! Open up and let me out! Kasperl and Seppel laughed. Well, fancy that, they said. You've been locked up here at last, said Mr. Hotzenplotz. We've been very glad to hear it. 14 days ago, when Kasperl and Seppel had helped to catch the robber, the mayor had given them a rich reward of $55.55. And Sergeant Dimplemoser had been promoted to Chief Inspector Dimplemoser. Let me out! I am not the robber Hotzenplotz. No, of course you aren't, said Kasperl. We know. You're Little Red Riding Hood and the 7 Little Dwarfs. No, I tell you, I'm Chief Inspector Dimplemoser. I'm locked up inside here. Why don't you just shut up, Chief Inspector Caterwaller, or we'll have the police down on you, said Kasperl. Don't be silly, I am the police. Don't you recognize my voice? Let me out of here, I'm an officer of the law. Kasperl and Seppel did not believe a word of it. It was clear as day to them that Hotzenplotz was trying to trick both of them, but they weren't going to fall for it. Well, if you really are Mr. Dimplemoser, said Kasperl, come on over to the window so we can see you. I can't, I'm tied up on the floor. If you don't let me out of here this minute, I'll have the law on you. I'll have the law on both of you, do you hear me? As usual, Kasperl and Seppel were equal to the situation. Seppel stood with his back to the wall of the fire station while Kasperl climbed up on the shoulders and looked through the barred window. Come on, where are you? Let's have a look at you. I'm down here by the fire engine. Can you see me? No, I can't, said Kasperl, because the fire engine isn't made of glass. Do you really think anybody's going to fall for such a silly story? It's not a silly story. It's the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. The official police truth. For goodness sake, believe me and get me out of here. What do I have to do to have you believe me? I've been tied up by the robber Hodson plots. I am the Chief Inspector Dimplemoser. Casper and Supple would have liked to stop and listen to him a bit longer. They enjoyed hearing the robber Hodson plots reduced to pleading for mercy and telling silly stories. But just at that moment, the clock struck 12:15, and then they remembered it was Thursday, sausages and sauerkraut. Keep on howling, Casper shouted through the barred window. I'm afraid my friend Supple and I have to go home for dinner now. It's sausages day. Bye-bye, Chief Ebenezer Plots and Hots. Or do you think we're going to let our sausages burst just for the pleasure of listening to you? And Casper and Supple took off to grandmother's house. Now, wizards, I think you know what happened. The robber Hodson plots. Yep, you're right. The robber Hodson plots tied up the chief inspector. He put him in the fire station. He switched clothes, and he's at grandmother's house, eating up all her sausages while she has fainted. You were right. I know you were thinking that. Very good, wizards. Proud of you. That's it for today, Thursday, May 14th. You will hear from me again tomorrow on Friday, May 15th. Until then, wizards, I miss you, and we will talk again soon. Bye-bye. Have a good night.